Bangladesh burns. The flames are not just physical, but symbolic of a nation in deep distress. The streets are alive with anger. Protesters clash with police, their voices echoing the cries of a frustrated populace. Tear gas chokes the air, a harsh reminder of the state's response to dissent. The nation is on edge, a powder keg waiting to explode. Every moment feels like it could be the tipping point. This is not hyperbole. This is the reality of Bangladesh in 2024. A reality that is both stark and unsettling. A nation born from the ashes of war finds itself consumed by internal strife. The echoes of its past struggles are hauntingly present. The current crisis is not a sudden eruption. It is a slow burn that has been building up over time. It's the culmination of years of simmering discontent. The grievances have been long-standing and unresolved. Political polarization has reached a fever pitch. The divide between factions is more pronounced than ever. The fault lines run deep, threatening to tear apart the very fabric of Bangladeshi society. The unity that once held the nation together is fraying. What began as student protests against a controversial quota system has morphed into a full-blown political crisis. The youth, once hopeful, now lead the charge for change. The world watches with a mix of apprehension and concern. International eyes are on Bangladesh, waiting to see how the situation unfolds. Can Bangladesh, a nation that has overcome so much, navigate this latest storm? The resilience of its people will be tested once again. Or is it destined to be consumed by the flames of its own making? The future hangs in a delicate balance. The answers to these questions have profound implications, not just for Bangladesh, but for the entire South Asian region. The ripple effects could be far-reaching. The situation is dire, the stakes are high, and the time for action is now. The world waits, and so does Bangladesh, for what comes next. To understand the present, we must delve into the past. Bangladesh's journey has been one of resilience and struggle. Born out of a bloody war of independence in 1971, the nation carries deep scars. The spirit of 1971, the fight for self-determination, remains a potent force. But victory came at a cost. Millions perished in the fight for freedom. The newly independent nation was left devastated, its economy in ruins. To uplift marginalized communities and ensure representation for the war heroes, a quota system was introduced. This system, designed to address historical injustices, has become a point of contention. Over time, resentment grew among those who felt excluded. The quota system, originally intended as a temporary measure, became entrenched. As Bangladesh prospered, the debate over quotas intensified. Critics argued that it was time to move on, to create a level playing field. They saw it as an impediment to meritocracy, an obstacle to progress. The stage was set for a confrontation. Tensions reached a boiling point in June 2024. Student protests, initially sparked by concerns over the quota system in university admissions, rapidly escalated. The government's heavy-handed response only added fuel to the fire. The use of force against unarmed protesters ignited public outrage. Social media became a battleground, with both sides trading accusations and spreading misinformation. The situation spiraled out of control, with clashes between protesters and law enforcement becoming increasingly violent. The nation held its breath, bracing for the worst. As chaos gripped the streets, the political opposition seized the opportunity to challenge the ruling government. They accused the government of corruption, authoritarianism, and mishandling the crisis. The nation found itself on the brink, teetering towards anarchy. The situation in Bangladesh became a cause for international concern, with various global powers calling for restraint and a peaceful resolution to the crisis. However, the deep-seated divisions within Bangladeshi society, coupled with the government's intransigence, made finding a solution an arduous task. Section 4. India watches with bated breath, regional stakes. Across the border, India watched with growing unease as the situation in Bangladesh continued to deteriorate. The crisis in Bangladesh had the potential to spill over, destabilizing the entire region and causing widespread concern among neighboring countries. Bangladesh is India's neighbor, a crucial partner in its neighborhood-first policy, which emphasizes strong regional ties. A stable and prosperous Bangladesh is in India's strategic interest, ensuring peace and economic growth in the region. The crisis threatened to unleash a wave of refugees across the border, adding to the already complex humanitarian challenges. India, already grappling with its own internal challenges, could ill afford another humanitarian crisis, which would strain its resources further. Moreover, a power vacuum in Bangladesh could create space for extremist elements to thrive, posing a direct threat to India's security and stability. India's concerns were not limited to security. Economic implications were also significant. The two nations share deep economic ties, with trade and investment flowing freely across their borders. Bangladesh is India's largest trading partner in South Asia, making the stability of its economy crucial for both nations. The ongoing turmoil threatened to disrupt trade and investment, harming both economies and leading to potential economic downturns. India found itself in a delicate position, treading a fine line between expressing concern and respecting Bangladesh's sovereignty, a balance that was hard to maintain. Any intervention, however well-intentioned, could be misconstrued as interference, leading to further complications in diplomatic relations. India's role was crucial, yet it had to tread carefully, avoiding any action that could exacerbate the situation, while still offering support where possible. Section 5. The Interim Government. Bridge or Band-Aid. As the crisis deepened, calls for a negotiated settlement grew louder, echoing through the streets and meeting rooms alike. The international community, led by the United Nations, stepped up diplomatic efforts, urging both sides to come to the table. Pressure mounted on both the government and the opposition to find a way out of the impasse, as the nation watched with bated breath. After weeks of intense negotiations, a breakthrough was achieved, bringing a glimmer of hope to the beleaguered nation. Both sides agreed to the formation of an interim government tasked with restoring order and paving the way for fresh elections, a crucial step towards stability. The interim government, composed of technocrats and respected figures from various fields, was seen as a neutral entity capable of guiding the nation out of crisis, a beacon of impartiality. However, the interim government faced an uphill battle, with numerous challenges ahead. It inherited a deeply divided nation, a shattered economy, and a populace weary of promises, making its task even more daunting. The interim government's success hinged on its ability to restore trust, both within Bangladesh and with the international community, a delicate balancing act. The interim government's mandate was clear: to stabilize the nation, create a conducive environment for free and fair elections, and oversee a peaceful transfer of power, ensuring a smooth transition. Whether this interim arrangement would prove to be a lasting solution or a temporary reprieve remained to be seen, as the nation held its breath. The future of Bangladesh rested on its fragile shoulders, a nation yearning for peace and stability.